Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. So a few days ago we had that massive leak revealing potential specs of next-gen Xbox and PlayStation 6. These specs are quite impressive and interesting indeed. Both consoles will be packing next-gen hardware, RDNA 5, Zen 6, GDDR6 memory, But the question is, what's going to be the difference between these consoles when it comes to the actual performance, right? I mean, specs is one thing, but the real performance is another, really, right? And we've got some answers to that, really. Kepler L2 actually shared some information about potential performance difference between these two, and that's what I really want to talk about today. But first, let's check CD Keys. This is a website where you can buy games, digital games, really cheap, and they've got Mafia, the Old Country, the new Mafia game on sale right now already. You can buy this game on Steam and Xbox up to 29% off, $52 for Steam for deluxe edition, or 46 for Xbox normal edition. Same goes for Steam. They also have 3-month Game Pass Ultimate keys. Good offer, 29% off. So check the link in the description to check those offers. Obviously, they've got plenty of other games over there, so it's worth checking out for sure. I'm sure you will find something for you as well. Okay, guys, so let's go back to, well, Tech Talk. Next-gen consoles specs have been revealed. These are initial specs, so things may still change because we're talking about specs that are still being prototyped, tested, so things may change. I'm sure you remember how certain things actually changed before the Xbox One and PlayStation 4 consoles arrived, and last generation there were some small changes here and there, but for the most part what leaked like a year, 2 years before the release of these consoles were actually what we got, right, with some small changes. And obviously the leaked specs I spoke about like in my previous video, so if you really want to know what the specs are, like check the previous videos for both next-gen Xbox and PlayStation 6. But the question is, how do these specs translate to real life performance? Well, we don't really have these boxes out just yet, so we can't really say, but Kepler L2, based on the specs and some initial tests, and he's got that information from databases, for the prototypes and stuff, he says that PlayStation 6 is going to offer performance roughly around AMD's RX 9070 XT graphics card, right? And the next-gen Xbox is going to be close to like RTX 5080. Which sounds impressive right now, obviously, but in 2 years down, 2 years time, these cards are not going to be that impressive anymore because next-gen hardware is going to arrive. So, I would not be surprised if when these consoles are going to be out, the next generation cards from AMD and Nvidia will be out, and these consoles are going to offer roughly around like mid-tier kind of graphics card performance, which is still good, to be honest with you, for the price, let's face it, right? Now the question is, what's the difference between these two, like RX 9070 XT and RTX 5080? Well, it all depends on the game. If you look benchmarks, we're talking about anything between 10 to 30% difference in terms of performance. Obviously, RTX 5080 has an advantage here when it comes to performance. These performance numbers, we're talking about only rasterized kind of numbers, right? Not rasterized graphics. We're not taking into an account like machine learning and ray tracing just yet. But I would imagine that the technology both will use will be very similar, because both will be using RDNA 5 chips, right, when it comes to graphics. So you know what, if you really think about it, both PlayStation 6 and next gen Xbox, it's going to be a very similar situation to PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series X. I just hope that this time around Microsoft will actually make sure that developers have dev kits earlier, and they've got all the tools necessary, and the drivers will be ready, because we all remember how Xbox Series X specs situation ended up being at the release, despite better specs and being more powerful console indeed. Games were better optimized for PlayStation 5 back then, right? It's different now, and there's optimization for Xbox improved big time. So if anything, there's an advantage that Xbox Series X has in many games, but it's not really a massive difference, and there's still a lot of games that are equal, that run pretty much the same on both consoles, or like with minor differences. There's still some games that run better on PlayStation 5, because it's all depends on how developers take advantage of both hardwares, and which is primary platform, etc., right? So it is what it is. And sometimes we've got situations where one console will have better frame rate, and the other console in the same game will have better graphics or better resolution or whatever, right? So it's not equal, right? It's also difficult to compare. But I think that, generally speaking, what we've learned from this generation is that I don't expect like a massive difference in games. In terms of like, games will look great, will run great, don't get me wrong, but what I'm saying is that the difference between PlayStation 6, which is supposed to be less powerful, and next gen Xbox is not going to be massive in games. So even if there's going to be some performance difference, even if there's going to be some graphics or resolution difference, it's not going to matter that much, right? And I think that what PlayStation is planning this generation, which is pretty clever to do for them, because they want to sell more and more consoles. Xbox is moving away from that strategy. They want to leave console sales in third-party companies' hands, like Asus, Lenovo, etc. They want to, basically work with partners on that. So for PlayStation, making slightly less powerful console, but cheaper, may work out better in the end, to be honest with you. So, but that's just my opinion. Obviously, we still have to wait. What's the final specs going to be like? These consoles are still being tested, prototype things are being changed here and there. And like I said, a lot of performance will come from higher clocks, and the question is how much higher clocks will PlayStation or Xbox will have. And to be honest with you, I think we're going to have a similar situation where PlayStation 5 may have higher clocks, because it will come with less compute units, and some games just like higher clocks. We've learned that this gen, right? So anyway, guys, that's the video. I hope you enjoyed it. Let me know in the comment section below what you think about it. Check CD keys for cheap games for both Xbox, PC, PlayStation and Nintendo as well. Link is in the description, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Take care.